Hello, family. Welcome to another session of MathsFanatics247. Here we're going to be looking at a question on analytical geometry taken from a past paper. Okay, so here they say in the diagram below, the coordinates of A, B, and C are given. Right. P and Q are points. P and Q are midpoints. Oh, they are midpoints. Okay, so P is a midpoint of AB and Q is a midpoint of BC. So what they're telling me is that this part is the same as that part. Then this part, B to Q, is the same as Q to C, right? Perfect. And then the first question they want me to calculate P and Q. Remember, they told us that P and Q are midpoints. So we have to use what? The midpoint formula, right? So I'm gonna firstly find the midpoint of A, what? B, right? Which is basically P, né? Sharp. Midpoint of AB, right? Which is P basically, is going to be x1 plus x2 over 2. Remember, this is the midpoint formula, right? Y1 plus y2 over 2, right? Awesome. Let me use a white one. We have P. So I'll call this my ones. I'll call this my twos. Ne? So, and then also my ones and my twos there. Sharp. Okay, now we can proceed. So x1 is -6. x2, -2 over 2. Coordinate y1 is -2. y2 is +4 over 2. And then we simplify. Remember, we're working with A and B, right? You can see my x1, my y1. x2, y2. You just substitute there. Substitute. And then now I'm going to have -8 over 2, which is -4. Coordinate. Here I'm going to have 2 over 2, which is 1. Right. So those are the coordinates of P, right? You can even write them here. -4 and 1. Perfect. Now we can easily find the other midpoint of BC, which is point P, right? I mean point Q, sorry, point Q. So I'm going to substitute my x1, -6, my x2, 8, which is positive, over 2, my y1, -2, then my y2 is 2, so plus 2, all over 2. Then Q, this gives me 2 over 2, which is 1. This gives me 0 over 2, which is 0. Né? Therefore, the coordinates of Q are going to be what? 1 and 0. Perfect. And then you're done with that question. Okay. Perfect. So on 2.2.1, right? They want us to show that this line, which is PQ, is parallel to that line. Let me quickly remind you of the relationships between perpendicular and parallel lines. Ne? Parallel lines, right? If the gradient of this line, the first line is 1, the second line will be 1. The gradient of the first line is 2, 2. 1 over 2, 1 over 2. And so on and so on. Ne? So parallel lines always must have what? Equal gradients. The gradients must be exactly the same. Okay. So if they say show that two lines are parallel, they are basically saying show us that the gradient of PQ is the same as AC. And then if you can show us that this gradient and that one are the same, then we can conclude that they are parallel. Ne? Perfect. Just for revision purpose, let me just show you the revision for perpendicular lines. Ne? So if two lines are perpendicular lines, ne? Okay, so sorry, this is M1, that is M2. So the gradient 1, gradient 2, gradient 1, gradient 2. If two lines are perpendicular, let's say the gradient of this one is 1. Ne? The gradient of this one must be -1. They are complete opposites. Ne? Complete opposite. If the gradient of this one is -2, that one will be +1/2. You see, if this one is -3/5, this one will be +5/3. I want you to observe something here. Ne? Remember, a whole number basically it's over 1. Ne? They don't show you, right? So what you do when you get the gradient of the other one, if two lines are perpendicular, is this. You switch the sign always, and then you switch the numbers. Ne? So the sign here was positive. Here it became a -1/1, switches to 1/1, right? The sign here was negative. Here it became positive. Do you see? And then you switched 2/1 to 1/2. And so on and so on. Do you get it? Because the gradients of perpendicular lines, when you multiply them, you must always get -1. So if the question says that you need to show that two lines are perpendicular, you're going to find the gradients and multiply them. They must give you -1 if they are perpendicular. If the gradients are not giving you -1, then they are not perpendicular. Makes sense? You should know the difference between parallel and perpendicular. So we can now move on to our question. So I'm gonna be looking for small m of PQ, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? And so let's check here. PQ. Okay. Let's make our ones. So this will be my ones. Those will be my twos. Ne? Sure. And then for AC, because I have 2, so I'll just change one of them. Ne? I'll change this to my ones now. Ne? Does not matter. You could have changed that one to your ones, but one of the point must be your ones. The other one must be your twos. Okay. So let's go back to finding the gradient of PQ now. So y2 I can see is 0 minus y1, which is 1, all over. X2 is 1. And then x1 is -4. So I'm going to say this minus, and then because I'm minusing there, you see, put it in bracket like that, which gives us -1/5. That is the gradient of PQ. Now let's find the gradient of AC. Okay, I can see that my y2 is 4. My y1 is 2 over. My x2 is -2. Then my x1 is 8, so it's going to be -8 because there was a minus there. So it's this one. Then the x1 is 8, goes there. Perfect. Then now here at the top, okay, let me quickly simplify. The top is 2. The bottom is -10, which also gives me -1/5 when I simplify. Then I can conclude that therefore PQ it's parallel to AC. Because, so this is the symbol for because MPQ is equals to M of AC. Then finito with that question. Okay. Awesome. We proved that these are exactly the same. So we need to go to the next question. So here they want us to do what? They want us to, let me get my pen. They want us to show that PQ, so PQ equals to half of AC. Ne? Sharp. What does PQ mean? If the question says find, let's say I just say this, find PQ. What do I mean? Do I mean the gradient? Do I mean the distance? Do I mean the equation of a line or the midpoint? I mean the distance. Ne? If the question asks you to find just two letters, they just say determine. They don't say anything. They just say PQ, AB, AC. This is length. Ne? This is length. So basically, they're asking you to show us that PQ, which is this, right, is 2 times AC, basically. Do you see it? Because they say AC is half of PQ, which means PQ must be 2 times AC. Which means I must do distance here separately and get the answer. Do distance here separately and then compare them. Does it make sense? So I'm going to do distance of PQ now. PQ, right, distance formula, x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, right? Awesome. Which becomes, I'm going to substitute now. My x2 is what? For PQ, my x2 is 1. My x1 is negative 4. So that negative is this one, but I still have to substitute the negative 4 squared plus. So that minus, I'll keep it there. What is y2? Y2 is 0, right? So 0 comes in. What is y1? Y1 is 1. Sure. Then we do that. Then can easily type that on a calculator to get our answer, right? Let's do that quickly. Let's see what does this give us. Let's see. Okay. So I'm going to have square root bracket 1 minus 4 squared plus 0 minus 1 squared, right? Which gives me square root of 26. Okay, square root of 26. That's my answer. Awesome. And then now I need to do what? I need to do the distance of, I need to do this part now. Ne? So I need to do half distance of AC, which will be half. Then where there's AC, I substitute with distance formula, right? Sharp. But because we have distance formula there, you don't have to rewrite it again. But I will know that we're working with AC now. Ne? So my x2, I can see that is negative 2. Negative 2. So it's 8. So minus 8. Because there was a minus there already. Then you square. Then what is, let's see. We need y2 now. Y2 is 2. Then we need y1, which is 4, right? Then we square. Let's see what we're going to get. Let's see what we are going to get now, right? So mouse AC. Okay, let's get our mouse and cancel this. And then we have half, then times the distance formula. Remember here there's a hidden times. No? Let me show you with a dot here. Sharp. Okay. So we're gonna now punch in everything we have. Okay. Then let's see what we get. Oh, we get the same answer. That's looking so exciting. Then we can conclude to say, therefore, PQ is the same as half of AC. Then you say proven. Perfect. And then that should be your final answer for that question, right? So here we have what? We're going to have basically, this is square root of, okay, let's see. This is square root of 26, right? So which means this one will be 2 times square root of 26. Because we just showed that PQ is half of AC. So AC must be double PQ. Awesome. Now let's look at the next question. So on 2.3, they want us to calculate the perimeter of triangle A, B, C. So they want us to calculate the total length basically here, no? The total length there. Makes sense. So AC I already have. So I need to find the distance of AB. I also need to find the distance of BC. Then the distance of AC I have, which is 2 root 26. And they said we must round off to 2 decimal places. Okay. So remember, distance formula is this, no? It's x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, all inside the bracket, right? Awesome. So now I need to do the distance between A and B. Okay. So the distance between A and B is going to be, my x2 is -2. And then my x1 is -6. Then you square. So this first minus is for there, and then the other minus is for the -6. Usually some people prefer to put the bracket there, right? Plus my y2 is 4 and minus -2, which is my y1, then squared. Then what will be the answer? Let's check on a calculator quickly. So you take your calculator, you type in everything. So square root minus 2 minus 6 squared plus 4 minus 2 squared. That will give us how much? Give us 2 square root of 13. Okay. Now let's find BC. What will BC be? Let's see. Okay. So BC, C is there. B, but all of them are 1. So I'm going to change this to make them my 2's. Ne? Sure. So my y2, I mean my x2, remember I started with x2. So my x2 is 8 minus my x1 is -6 squared plus y2, which is 2, minus y1, which is -2. Then you square. Then you go to your calculator, get your answer there, right? So let's see. Square root 8 minus -6 squared plus 2 minus -2 squared. What does that give us? It gives us 2 root 53. Okay. So the answer is 2 root 53. Therefore, perimeter of the triangle will be this answer plus that answer plus that answer, right? Which is 2 root 3, root 13, I mean, plus 2 root 53 plus 2 root 26. Perfect. So now 2 root 53 is already there. I'm just gonna add with, so this is 2 root 53. I have to add 2 root 13 and then plus 2 root 26. they said 2 decimal places, which gives me 31.97. Remember, you look at the third one, right? So I can see it's going to change this 96 to 97 because it's above 5. It's above 4, basically. And then that's finito with this question. I hope you're going to share with your family and friends and hit the subscription button. Thank you. See you soon.